episode of the Book Fix podcast, where we fix lives one book at a time. I'm your host, Cheli.
And I'm your host, Yajaira.
Hello, welcome to a spooky one. Is it spooky? Would you count this as spooky?
I guess a little bit, yeah. I mean, I wasn't that spooked. I did feel unsettled, but nothing I couldn't handle. Yeah, I'm like over here, like
everyone
with my blankets over me.
Everyone, grab your Snuggie. Grab your comfort animal.
Mm-hmm.
This one's the spooky one. I'm only saying that because, I mean, we gotta let him in.
Yeah, a little warning. Spoilers ahead, okay? You've been warned.
You've been warned. We're letting him in. Hi. Oh my gosh. It's so nice to be here, like, back to our normal schedule.
Mm-hmm. I've missed this. Yeah, I really missed this.
Oh my gosh. It's weird because although it's been a while, it's kind of like riding a bike. Like, you don't forget how to speak in front of a mic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Well, I hope not.
So, I know. Oh my gosh. I forgot how to speak. We just end it.
Yeah, okay. Thanks for listening. We're done.
So today we are going to be talking about A Dowry of Blood by ST Gibson.
Mm-hmm.
And we are actually talking about this because Yajaira, you read this on your free time, right?
Yes. So April was, I think that was when I had like my physics stuff happening. So I made a TikTok saying, listen, I'm probably not going to read anything, but if I can read one thing, it would be this book. I did not read it in April, unfortunately, but I did read it. I think I read it in May, maybe.
Yeah, I think you did.
But I really wanted us to talk about it because I thought it would be an interesting discussion, but also because Happy Pride, everyone.
Happy Pride.
Yeah, that's why.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so just to get into it, I'm going to give a quick spoiler-free summary, and then afterwards we're going to guess how both of us feel about it. But my quick summary is that this story starts with our main character, Constanza, who is dying. She ain't making it, guys. And she's really close to death until a stranger saves her by making her undead. So she is basically a vampire. Mm-hmm. And she goes from being like just like this broke dying bitch to someone's bride. And she basically has to live like on his every whim.
Uh-huh.
And she lives with this and is okay with it until he starts taking advantage and kind of doing what he wants with the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm gonna say. I do recommend that if you like, first of all, Pride. If you like LGBTQ representation, there is polyamory in this. It's non-monogamous, but it's also very weird to say, but it is very found family in a sort of way with certain characters. And it's also romantic. No, just kidding.
I think one of the characters is, or two of them are pansexual, and one of them is, I think they're all pansexual or bi. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of pride in here. So I do recommend go read this if any of that interests you. But I actually have no idea how Yajaira feels about this book. Because we did not talk about it before or after. You were just like, I read it. It sounds like a good book for the podcast, so we should read it.
Mm-hmm.
But I know you. I know you, and I know right now you're wearing the Batman shirt, which is a picture of Robert Pattinson with Twilight font. I know
Black and red.
I know. Thank you. I know that you love vampires. Okay. It's your whole thing. It's your whole thing. Okay,
don't call it my thing. Don't call it my thing. That's weird.
Okay. I'm sorry, Queen. I'm sorry. I overstepped.
I'll make an apology later.
I know. I think that you really like vampires, and I also think that you liked our female protagonist in this book. But I'm not sure how you felt about everyone else. That's where I'm kind of like, okay, I know that you liked what this story had going for it. I do think that because you held on to it for so long, because I don't think you would have done that for any other book. If it had been just like I need to read something and it had been 2 months, you would have probably been like, back in the TBR list you go, as a queen does. But I think maybe I'm going to aim high. I think you're going to give this a 3.9.
Okay.
Out of 5.
Okay. I love that. I love that you went on to a whole description when we specifically said that we weren't going to do that anymore. But you were too far ahead that I just couldn't stop you, you know? I know. So
sorry,
Cheli and I, we don't talk about the books that we want to discuss on the podcast. But there was a comment that you made where you were like, I'm going to fight you if you don't like this one character. I have this feeling that you like really love Alexei. I don't know why. Well, I do know why. You always tend to love, like, I don't know, like the male characters. I don't know how to describe it, but there's something about Alexei that I just feel like you really loved. So I'm just going to guess, not for that alone, but, you know, separate from that, I'm going to guess that overall you'd probably give the book like a 4 to 4.5 maybe. I don't think you love vampires, but I think that this book was short enough for you to enjoy the vampires that you got in that moment. You know,
with just my short attention span. You know?
Well,
the words were just right for me.
I didn't want to say that, but
I'm kidding, guys. It's I get what you mean, because we were both in the middle of like the busiest moments in our life, so it was a good, you know, a good change of pace from our 500-page read.
No, literally. That's what we're going to be tackling next. How exciting.
I know.
So where do we start? I do want to say that I did know that this was a reimagining of Dracula and his brides. I knew that much. I didn't know exactly where the story would head, but I want to say just right now that I do appreciate, I guess, the discussion of how relationships can seem so maybe perfect-ish in the beginning, but then it like slowly, progressively starts to turn abusive, which is what we see in this book. And there's definitely an abuse of power of they don't call him Dracula in the book. They call him, I think, Lord or something. But
they do.
And we should just call him Dracula because we know who he is. We know who he is.
Dude, I was so confused because I was like, am I missing? Like, I kept going back, going like, maybe they mention his name. Maybe they'll say it. Is this dude's name Jason or something? Like, I don't know his name. And I kept going back because I didn't know his name. So I literally figured out right before we started filming that his name is Dracula and that he's the one. He's the one we're talking about. We're bringing him here. I know. Tune in, guys, because at the end, Dracula is going to come on as guest speaker. He can only
He's actually here right now,
so we do have to wait. I know. Oh my gosh. I like that you brought that up because I thought it was interesting seeing that not only Constanza's relationship become toxic, but we got to see it with all of them.
Yeah.
And it was interesting seeing Constanza see herself in each of them. When the relationship would get sour. Like, she knew the beats of how it was going to go down. It does start off with Dracula saving Constanza from death. And
can I just
kind of like...
Can I just say...
Oh, go ahead.
That in the moment when he saves her, I fucking, like, have this, like, love-hate relationship with how he makes her say, like, oh, this is what you want, right? And she's like, yes, yeah, because she's obviously on the verge of dying. Like, she's bleeding out. And she doesn't know that he's a vampire because, you know, I don't think they knew that they existed. But he kind of makes it seem like he can save her. And so she's like, yes, just save me or whatever. And so he turns her into a vampire. So even though, in a way, she wanted this, she didn't know exactly what she was signing up for. So I like to see the relationship had always had... like, even like a rocky start, I guess. You know, there's deception right from the beginning.
And he's good at portraying it, because if it ever came back to bite him, it'd be like, no, you said you wanted this.
Yeah.
You said you wanted to go through this. And he does it with Magdalena and Alexi.
Yeah.
He does the same thing. Where it's like you catch them in a moment where they're of course going to say yes. So it is interesting that happens so early on. What I liked at the beginning too is you see him in a way different light than you see him at in the rest of the book, because he is so like caring. He's like, I'm not gonna do anything you don't want me to. I'm gonna I'm gonna give you your space. And of course she's like, no, you just turned me into a vampire, you gotta stick with me. And she's like completely infatuated with him
and dependent of him too.
But in like the eyes of her, it's just kind of like, no, he's perfect, he takes care of me, he's so patient. And they're together, it's only the two of them for a good amount of time,
for years.
And I know that after she turns, he's like, okay, we got to go on our honeymoon, where do you want to go? And she chooses a place, I think it's Vienna. She chooses this place and she loves it. Like, she is thriving. Although she's not human, she still has human tendencies. So she's over here having the time of her life, and he is hating every moment of it. And I think she even makes a comment that's like, it feels like he loves me more when he's the only one I'm thinking about. Like, when she's blossoming and thriving, that's when they're more bothered, like, against each other. Yeah, exactly. Like, that's when they would have problems, when she was okay, not necessarily being on her own, because they were always together. Like, she was like his shadow pretty much, but just like her having her own interests, that's when there would be issues in the relationship. And he just loved when she would just be completely dependent of him. Oh, and I hated fucking the part in Vienna where she became really close with a girl, and she was like, oh my gosh, like, she's amazing, I love her. And he notices that and leaves her for like weeks, doesn't he? He like leaves for a really long time. So then when he comes back, she's like at his knees, like crying, like, I'm so sorry, or on her knees crying for him, like, I'm so sorry I did that. And he's over here like, it's okay, and it's like, no, you're the one who left. Like, why is she crying for you?
He has this, like, I don't know, this tendency of always making it seem like, oh no, it's your fault and your fault only. I wouldn't have reacted that way had you not done that. But it's like, he doesn't even have to say it. It's just the way that he comes off, right? So she'll just make the conclusions herself, like, knowing like, yeah, I'm so sorry, that was my bad. I shouldn't have kind of fallen in love with this girl. It won't happen again. And this whole time, Constanza thinks that she's the only bride that he's ever had. So she thinks she's the only one in his life.
But then there's a plague that goes around in Vienna, and they like get out of there. They're like, He's like, you don't want to stay for a plague. People get crazy. So they end up going somewhere else. And he's like, you're really going to like it here because I have a friend here, a correspondent, and you're gonna love it. And when they get there, she's shocked because it's this beautiful woman whose name is Magdalena. Maggie is what they call her. And it's like, you never told me that you talk to other girls, like, you never told me that. And so even the way that they interact with each other, Dracula and Maggie, they're like close. They are whispering in each other's ears. They're he caresses her in a certain way, and it's so obvious.
They definitely have like that sexual tension that Constanza is not blind to. She sees it, and so immediately she's jealous, she's angry, she's just like, what the fuck? Like, he's had this correspondence for how long?
Dude, and I know that you told me before that this was going to have polyamory, but this isn't what I thought. I thought it was going to be something different because it like threw me off when they were dancing. And then Dracula was like, hey, Constanza, you want her, don't you? You want her?
Yeah.
You can have her if you want her. And I'm just like, oh my God.
But
in the middle of a dance?
But the thing is that it pisses me off because it's like, you want to have the three of them. You want it to be the three of you guys, right? So you make it seem like, oh, this is what she wants. So if you want it, then it turns into the three of us. You know what I mean? So it's like, he's always very like manipulative with the situations.
We'll be back after a quick break.
Introducing EverythingMattersPod.com, the 7 times Human Body Award-winning show and the planet's best program. Everything Matters is a surreal comedy horror podcast. Journey with our fearless hosts, Michael Torr and Dale Dallas, as they uncover the hidden gems and stories of Tri-Town. Don't forget to check out EverythingMattersPod.com, because everything matters, and it never ends.
That's what I thought too, and that's what I didn't like about the way that these relationships were formed, because they were what he wanted, like you said. And although it just happens to work out that Constanza and Magdalena are like goals forever, like, it sucks that they are both tied down to Dracula. Like, this is still the person that they like. He's the main one of the relationship.
Yeah.
And they go to a room and they all have sex together. And in the middle, I don't know if it's in the middle of this, but she does get turned.
Yeah. No, it is during sex.
She is also asked during sex, like, are you sure? Is this what you want? And it's like, duh, of course. I've been wanting it forever.
This is what I want.
So same thing, like, after she turns, they're all happy, and then he's like, oh, we got to go on a honeymoon now.
Oh my
and
God,
it's weird
another
because
one.
he refers to Constanza and Magdalena as sisters.
Oh, I know. That gave me the ick. He was like, that's your sister. It's like, ew. What do you mean? They just had sex.
And like, Constanza's kind of seeing like all the same things. It's like, yep, we're gonna see Magdalena at her high, and then she's gonna get really low.
Yeah. And
she did have her high. Like, she was over here enjoying life, and it was a good change of pace.
Yeah, because she was definitely like
Constanza.
She was definitely a free spirit. She was more of a free spirit than Constanza was. And there were moments where it would just be the two of them, but they were definitely like, I don't know how to describe it, but it's like Dracula always knew where they were, and he would always be like, okay, well, make sure you're back by like 10. You know, like, he had like a tight leash on them. Because I remember there was a scene where they were exploring like someplace, and they were, I think it was Magdalena who was like, it's fine. We'll just go over there, say we just, got distracted and everything will be fine. And Constanza was more like, I don't really want to piss him off. But eventually, the two of them do end up falling in love with each other.
Yeah. A lot. And it starts off with because they go to see a play, and that's the first time that they go out without Dracula being there. And to Magdalena, it's whatever, but to Constanza, it's like, oh my God, we're going out.
Yeah, it's a big thing.
I know that when they're at the play, Constanza asks Magdalena, like, how do you feel about me? And it's like, well, I love both of you. And it's like, well, I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about me. Like, how do you feel about me? And then that's when they run off and they have like a little adventure. And like, it kind of continues like that for a while until I think Dracula figures out that they've been sucking people's blood but not killing them.
Yeah.
And that's where Constanza figures out that they both deal with his anger in a different way. Like, when Dracula's angry, Constanza gets very quiet, allows him to feel it. But then Magdalena, she gets all cute, will be like, why are you angry?
Yeah, like, babe, don't be angry. Stop. Like that.
Yeah,
like, very cutesy.
But they're both very aware of who he is. And this is like the time where both of them realize, like, yeah, he's not great. He's not. They both love him, but it's like, yeah, he's not great. He will get like this.
They definitely start to see his flaws.
And they mention too, because he's always studying, like, he's always like researching stuff. And Constanza brings up, it's like, there's never going to be an end to his research. I just feel like he needs something. Like, he needs to always have something to do, and that's his thing. That's what he does.
Yeah.
Yeah, but how did you feel about Magdalena as the addition, as the 3?
I actually really loved Magdalena. I thought she was a great addition to them. Obviously, when they first met her, I was unsure of how to feel, but I don't know. I kind of came to the realization that it's not her fault. like when she was super, what was the word? Because Constanza was thrown off by how flirty Magdalena was in the beginning.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't know her. But I do love that she was like a different type of person in their group, right? Like she's very different from Constanza.
Yep. I really like that too. I like too that Magdalena is very she's the only one out of all of them, out of all of them when we get Alexi too, that's super optimistic. So it's I feel a certain way about the trio. I think that she is a perfect fit, and I think that it was good that she came before Alexi. Like, I feel like she had to come before Alexi.
Yeah, I agree. And also, what I really liked about her addition to the group was that with her, you start to realize that no matter how much you can have in your life, at one point, it's just not enough. Because, like, I don't remember exactly at what point in their relationship, but Constanza noticed, like, her demeanor just wilting. Like, there was just something that was just making her sad. And slowly she starts to realize, oh, it's because this life is never ending. Like, it's never going to end. And even though Magdalena provided so much, like, light and happiness and very, like, she's very peppy, like, she just couldn't thrive being in the situation of, you know, just being locked into this relationship. Like, she didn't have freedom.
And it sucks too, because this is a conversation that Dracula has with all of them when all of them get to the point where it's like, you promised me life.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, but people don't accept us out there. And it's like, you never said that. You never told them that. So of course they're upset.
Yeah, because you just omitted this truth that this was going to be like literally forever. How can they say yes when they don't know that part? And of course, like, because he's so controlling, imagine having go through that like forever. Like, it gets tiring, and Magdalena was literally so depressed, and it killed Constanza too to see her that way, because she loves her, and at the same time, like, she's also dealing with Dracula's abuse because she doesn't have any freedom either. So I liked seeing that like dynamic of her realizing that this is going to be my forever, and she wasn't happy anymore.
So when it reached that stagnant point, Dracula does go like, hey y'all, let's get out of here, let's jet. And they go somewhere else. And it's funny because Constanza and Magdalena, they're just standing with Dracula. He's all talking to like this guy, and it's like, yeah, this is Alexi, you know. And Constanza's the first one to be like looking like, he's really young and really cute. They're very close. Hold on. And it's like, husband, we need to talk. We need to talk right now. And then he goes, and it's like, really? You're going to fucking add just another person?
Yeah.
Like, you can't just fucking do that. And it's like, no, you know, you guys are really going to like him. And he also does the same thing. Like, it's for you guys. It's for you guys. This is for you. Look at how happy Magdalena is. And she was. She loves Alexi.
Yeah, she was happy.
So, same thing. They all have sex together. And then in the freaking height of it all, Dracula's just like, are you sure? Are you sure? Is this what you want? And it is. And Alexi turns into a vampire as well.
Yeah. And this is pretty much when shit hits the fan.
His dynamic kind of changed everything. He was so young. And I mean, Constanza been there the longest. She's kind of like a mother figure to all of them. So seeing him go through what she went through, what Magdalena went through, you know, the height of, yes, I'm in our honeymoon of Paris, but then seeing everything he thought he was going to have ripped away, like, no, you can never be an actor. You can never make friends. You can never be out there. And it hurt him more because that's the type of thing he would thrive off of. Yeah. So it's like he's losing all these opportunities, and he's constantly fighting with Dracula. He's like, you said I could have this. And it's like, yeah, but no one likes this guy. Like, we can't do this, Alexi. Yeah. Fucking Dracula eats one of Alexi's friends. That's kind of rude.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to bring up, was that literally Alexi has like this whole fucking party. And to punish Alexei, because no one's supposed to know about them or the house or that they're vampires or whatever. He just like kills one of the people there.
And then fucking Dracula has the freaking audacity to be like, well, you're the one who had the party. I told you. We said.
I warned you. I warned you this would happen.
Yeah, and then they have to prepare to leave again. But that's where our trio comes in. Okay, first of all, how did you feel about Alexei?
We'll be back after a quick break.
You live in a world of exceptional people. People who can fly, people who can disappear or jump to the moon, people who are bigger than you, stronger and faster than you, but not better. And they have made it apparent by now, mighty as they may be, they are not super. They are not heroic. For whatever reason, sympathetic or otherwise, they cannot even control themselves. Luckily for you, your family, the people you love, we can control them by any means necessary. The Beam Chronicles is a fiction podcast by MJ Dooney. New episodes monthly on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or visit beamchronicles.com.
I did like Alexei, but I knew that when he was introduced, I was like, oh, he's a different level than Magdalena. Like Magdalena just like went with it, but I knew from the start that he would not just go with it. I knew that he would cause like problems between the group, I guess. So as soon as he was added onto the group, I was like, oh hell yeah, it's about to go down. But it to me, it makes sense because Alexei was literally 19. He's a child in comparison to everyone else. And so when he would...
You know what I appreciate too?
What?
The fact that him and Constanza's relationship wasn't built on sex.
Yeah, I appreciated that too. I thought that was good. But I just feel like of course, he is so young. He has so many things that he wants to do with his life. So of course, like he was the one who would question more. Like, why do we have to listen to him? Why do we have to do this?
Yep.
So I think he was necessary for everyone involved, especially because Constanza had such like a motherly instinct with him. She didn't want anything to happen to Alexei or Magdalena. And so when Alexei would fight with Dracula, she was like, oh my God, like kind of feeling like she had to do something in order to keep everyone safe.
And so they got to the point where they were like, you know what? We got to kill him. We can't get out of this.
Yes.
Got to get rid of this man.
Yes. But the thing is that it's because Constanza found letters from Dracula and previous brides. And so she realized, oh my God, wait, he's had brides before. And the only way that they could have gotten out of this relationship had to have been by death. Like she just knew that he could not have just let them go. Like he probably killed them. And so she tells the group, hey, we are not surviving this man. If we want to leave him, we're not surviving him because he's way stronger than them too.
So I think they get him like in a good mood and he thinks they're about to have sex. Fucking Alexei and Magdalena hold his arms down and Constanza's in the front. And it like says that the way he looks at Constanza, it's like you can tell that's his bride. Like that's his main chick. But like it doesn't last because I don't know if she stabs him or what happens. But at first he comes off as very angry. He's like, what are you doing? How dare you do this? And then he immediately goes to like, I love you so much.
Yeah.
Like you would not hurt me. I will not be angry at you if you let me go right now. And it sucks because it's like this was her life for hundreds of years.
Yeah.
Like she was in this for a very long time. So for her to be the one to make this decision, and it sucks, but she was kind of a mother to Alexei and Magdalena. So she is the one to have to make this decision. And as soon as the deed is done and he's killed, you hear the mob of people outside who are there because of, Dracula killing Alexei's friend. And immediately, like Alexei and Magdalena turn to Constanza and it's like, okay, what do we do? Because they don't know. They like lost their lead.
They have no direction.
She's like in charge of She's in charge of everything. She's like, I got this. She takes Dracula's body and takes him outside and is like, do what you must with him. And then she immediately closes the door. And before they notice that he has like vampire bites on him, because the trio also drank out of Dracula. Love that for them. But
that was their goodbye present, you know? Like, bye, I love you.
They take all of his money. They take all of his jewels, all of his possessions, and they run.
Yeah. And it sucks because at the end, we pretty much find out that the three of them went their separate ways to kind of like, I guess, have their own lives. And eventually they would come together again. But I don't know if it would be like a forever thing or just like a reunion.
Did you read the 1.5?
No, I didn't.
You should read it. It's really short. It's like 5 pages long.
You could just tell me what happened.
But, well, they all went their separate ways. You're right. And they all just kind of started their own lives. So Constanza did fall in love again. She fell in love with 2 people, a guy and a woman, and she made them undead. Like she made them to what Dracula did to them. And I think Alexei is the one to bring up like, was that wise? Like you were the one against it. And it's like, yes, but I was more open with them. Like I told them what it entails and I told them what would happen and they were okay with it. And then fucking Magdalena over here is like in love with a man and they've been together a long time, but he is a living man. He's a human man. And Alexei is like, really, you're not going to change him? Like he's going to get old and die. And it's like, yeah, but you never know what happens with life. Like sometimes the people you love will go away and that's fine. And if he gets old and I'm still with him, then I'm still with him. Like that's how it is.
Yeah.
And they're both very settled. But in this short story, Alexei is like a star. He's like super big in New York. And they come to him and they're basically like, oh my God, you're so great. You're so wonderful. But he's so like down the whole time, like sad.
Yeah.
And the reason he's sad is because he never found another lover. Because to him, the people he loves the most are Constanza and Magdalena.
Aww.
And he just, like, in the middle of sex, they would literally, like, be having sex and then just be like, okay, but what's wrong, Alexei? And it's like, really now? Like, we have to have this now? And they kept doing that to him. And so, like, he got overwhelmed and was just like, I just feel like you guys don't love me enough anymore.
Aww.
Like, I love you more than you love me.
Yeah.
And both of them kind of stopped and were just like, although we may have people we love in our lives now, it will never compare to what we 3 have. Because this is love.
Yeah. And
he gets very emotional. It's just like, I missed you guys. I love you. You're my everything. And then, they all have sex and they love each other.
Aww.
But it's really sweet because, like, they basically tell him, like, no matter where we end up in life, like, if you call us, if you say the word, we will always come to you, just like you would to us.
Well, they definitely have that trauma bond, so.
They do. Oh, God, it hurts me so much, but they're such a good trio. They're so good together.
Yeah.
And I love the relationship that Constanza has with Alexei. I wish it wasn't sexual, but I really wish it was just that motherly part of it.
Well, I mean, in the beginning, for a long time, it wasn't sexual. It was literally just like they were just there. Because even Dracula was like, wait, Alexei sought you out in bed? That's weird. He would never do that, you know?
Yep. Yeah. The whole sex written part, it was mostly Alexei and Magdalena and Constanza being like, you go, bitches.
You guys are doing great. It's like that one
She's
mom
all like
from...
fucking crocheting in the background.
I was going to say, it's like that one mom from Mean Girls who was like, you guys good? You need any condoms? No? Okay.
Yeah, that's how it was. It was really, it's sweet though, because like it's sweet to know that although they all went their separate ways, they all do still love each other. And the one I was worried for the most was Constanza, because she was the one who dealt with it the most. So it's sad to think that they both left her. You know what I mean? Like,
I was definitely,
she had it so hard.
Yeah, I was definitely sad when they did go their separate ways, because I mean, I understand why they needed it. But
Mm-hmm.
I kind of wish that they would have stayed together for a bit and then later on been like, you know what? Now we can go our separate ways, guys. It's been long enough.
But it was good for Alexi. I think he needed it. Magdalena, she became like a business person, I think.
Oh, yeah.
So she got what she wanted. She wanted power and she got it.
Yeah.
And Constanza just wanted love.
And she got it.
So, yeah, they all got what they wanted.
But yeah, I definitely think that this book was a really good, like, showing of that abuse of power in relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because it's, I don't know, like, obviously it's Dracula. So now having read this, I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Because of course he had all of these brides. There's no way that it was like all equal and all good, you know?
Yeah.
So I definitely appreciate that this story was so realistic in showing that relationship, especially because he was so good at manipulating everyone and making it seem like, oh no, that's what they wanted. Or him being upset wasn't his own fault. It was everyone else's fault.
Dude, I thought it was well written. What were your overall thoughts?
So my overall thoughts of the book was that I really enjoyed it. And it sucks because when I really enjoy a book, I just want to like binge it, right? Like I just want to start it, end it right there as soon as possible. But because of my schedule, I really like had to keep like pushing it back. So I would have to reread certain parts because I couldn't remember everything. I really liked, like I said already, the portrayal of their relationship. I liked that Constanza, through Magdalena and Alexi, she kind of like realized how toxic the relationship actually was because she loved them so much. That was what helped her realize that they all deserved way better than what Dracula had to offer them. And then also when she came across these letters and she slowly started to realize that, oh wow, he's had other brides, there's no way we're all going to survive this at the end. So she had that like instinct, right, of, oh, I need to protect everyone, even like before protecting herself, which is why I love her character so much. Like I appreciated her character, and I think that Magdalena and Alexi were like a good addition to the group as well. The only thing for me is that the sex scenes, some of them I had to skip a little bit. There's something about blood where I'm like, ugh, I don't know, like it makes my skin crawl a little bit. So there were certain parts where I like kind of had to like skim a little bit. But like they were fine. Like the smut was fine. Overall, I would probably give it like a 4.5 out of 5.
Oh my gosh. That's higher than I thought.
Yeah, no, I really liked it.
I knew you were going to like it.
No,
I knew you were going to like it. I just didn't know how much.
I thought it was a really good book. And the cover slays. Like, it's so pretty.
Dude, the cover's really good. I love the cover, too. Oh, my gosh. Okay, well, I feel very similar. I do really, really like this book. You're right. I do love Alexi.
I knew it.
But I think I love the trio more. Like, I love... When Magdalena was added, I was kind of nervous because I thought she was going to be more of an issue. But the fact that she got along so well with Constanza, I was like, oh my God, this is all I want, this duo. And then when they added Alexi, I was like, this is all I want, this trio. Like, I fucking love it. I love that they all worked together. And it was like, in a weird way, they all became found family.
I know.
like you said, through like trauma bond. But oh my God, it was so nice to see Constanza care so much for them. Like, I really appreciated reading that, and I really appreciated how strong she became throughout the story because she doubted herself a lot throughout this entire story. So to see how far she came, it was really good. It was like a good seeing her character development throughout the whole story. I don't even remember the smut. Like, I know it was in there, but I think I just kind of like, oh, okay, it's happening. Like, it didn't really stand out to me. So when I read the 1.5, I was just kind of like, whoa, this is kind of a lot. Because it was a lot of blood and breath play.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, okay. But, I mean, whatever. It didn't keep me away from the story, you know?
Same.
Overall, I think this was a good read. It's very short, by the way. So if anyone wants to read a quick book that's good, This is a good one to read. I think I would also give it a 4.5 out of 5.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
I mean,
oh my gosh, I'm kind of sad it just ends there. Like, I thought because she wrote a 1.5, she would write a second one, but whatever. I'm still waiting.
I'll just wait patiently for the next one, which I don't think there will be a next one, but
it's okay. I'm still gonna wait. It's okay. I'm very patient.
Same. Me too. But
Oh my
I'm really glad you liked the book. I wasn't sure, just because I wasn't sure how much you liked vampires, if at all.
I know, that's so funny when you were just kind of like,
I was like,
yeah, I don't think Cheli likes vampires. I like tear my Twilight poster down. It's fine.
You weren't even Team Edward. You were Team Jacob.
Okay, don't call me out like that. First of all, Queen, love you.
I love you so much.
I was Team Jacob in the way that I loved him more. Not that I thought he should end up with Bella. I think Jacob should end up with whoever he wants to, but not her child.
Not the baby, though. Ew.
Not the I know, not her child. Literally anyone that is your age. It's so weird that he stopped aging for her. Does anyone talk about that? Hi, welcome to the second segment of our episode.
This is actually a continuation of Twilight? What the fuck, Stephanie
I know.
Meyer?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay, be honest. How much of a letdown was it that none of these characters sparkled?
That none of them sparkled? Oh, dude.
Yeah,
I was literally thinking that. I was like, wait, none of them are sparkling? Are they like burning in the sunlight? That's so lame.
Yeah. That's lame.
Like,
I want them to sparkle.
I know. Isn't that the new thing now? And it's so
I thought this was a very good version of vampires.
Yeah.
Like, this is one of the better versions of vampires that I've read.
I would agree with you, because, I mean, it makes sense for, especially like when Magdalena was so sad. Like, it made so much sense to me. Of course, one of them would be like, damn, this is really the rest of my existence forever?
Yep.
Fuck. Like, what? That sucks.
It does. And yeah, I like that it was portrayed 3 times. Like, you saw it in 3 different characters. I fucking love that.
Yeah, same.
But thank you for everyone who's listening to our episode, whether that be on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or anywhere you get your podcasts on. It means so much that all of you are like still here. Like, isn't that crazy that you're all still here? Love that for you guys.
We took a bit of a break.
If you can please. I know. And you're still here? Oh my gosh. Love that. If you can please leave a rating of 5 stars and a review, because that does really make a difference. And if you want to tell your friends, family, loved ones, hated ones, undead ones, try to figure out how to do that. If you could tell anyone about us, that would help, because the best type of exposure is through word of mouth. If you are listening and watching us on YouTube, thank you. We haven't filmed in person in a while. Mm-hmm. Sorry, Yajaira and I just have not seen each other. Mm-hmm. But we're here. We're here in spirit. We do still post on YouTube. So we post every Tuesdays and Thursdays. So if you can like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell just so that you can be alerted when we post.
Well, I mean, we're a little behind, but we'll get there. We'll get there.
It's fine. It's fine. Okay. What about if they have a little extra money, Yajaira?
So we did start a Patreon, and for right now, our Patreon just serves as another way for any listener who wants to just show your support a little bit more. You can find us on patreon.com/bookfix.
Thank you. If you want to follow us on social media, we do have a TikTok that we are active on. It is at the Book Fix, THEBOOKFIX. And we also have an Instagram at the Book Fix Pod, THEBOOKFIXPOD. Thank you. Oh gosh.
Wow. Damn. Well,
it's funny because it's a mouthful, but because we've done it so many times, like that's what I'm gonna say on my deathbed. Like, I know it by heart.
Yeah.
At the age of 147, of course. But you know.
Not a day earlier or later. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye. Oh, dude.
You know what I'm craving?
What are you craving?
Ramen. Like, can you send me some ramen, like, through like a little box or something? But if it
Okay, me.
spills, I will cry.
It's okay. I'll actually boil the water and then I'll freeze it so that it's easier for you to boil when you get it.
Oh my god, that is so. Oh my god, innovative queen. Thank you.